Welcome back to another video. Now this is going to be the second video on my whistleblower series. I don't know if I'm going to actually have a limit, but there was an article that just got released on, what is it called, Creator Insider. And like, because that person works at YouTube, they're obviously going to beat around the bush and act like, oh, it's fake, don't listen to what they have to say. But this really inspired me to just make the second video about the recommendation system as a whole on YouTube and why that system is in the state that it's in, and why so many small people or maybe the average viewer who wonders, well, why am I getting recommended this? Well, I hope this video will give you a bit of insight and once again explain to you why it is that the recommendation system on YouTube has just become an absolute piece of crap over the years. So without further ado, let's get into this. Now, in this article, I want to hit on a few key points, and I'm not sure if I'll link the article. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'll try to remember if so, but what this article is called is YouTube's Product Chief on Online Radicalization and Algorithmic Rabbit Holes. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar, like, once again, this usually goes back to the whole unfortunate situation of the child predator system on YouTube, where like a bunch of pedophiles were using YouTube's recommendations for unfortunately exploiting minors. But I'm not going to get into that. I have already made a video on that. I'm going to talk about this whole rabbit hole thing. Now, in this article, there were some points saying the recommendations engine is also a growing liability for YouTube, which has been accused of steering users toward increasingly extreme content. After recent mass shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand, the work of a gunman who showed signs of having been radicalized online, critics asked whether YouTube and other platforms were not just allowing hateful and violent content to exist, but actively promoting it to users. Now, the Chief's response to this really was, well, we're trying to allow for like an open platform, but we don't like explicitly, promote hateful content and things of the matter. However, let's stop it right there for a moment. I just want to say something pertaining to the diss track videos for a second. Because while they're technically not hateful, keep in mind that the system does not understand what satire is. This system is automized, which that'll be a whole nother video soon. But this system is automized. Recommendations are run by bots. It's automized, so it does not know what satire is. So to the system, diss track videos are hate videos. But I'm fairly certain, as I know firsthand, we've been recommended quite a few diss track videos, have we not? Need I talk about the whole videos expressing their hate towards Logan Paul for having done the suicide videos? Now, technically, the guy was in the wrong. However, because that was a trending topic, people were literally recommended, I hate Logan Paul, or Logan Paul is a freaking idiot, or blah, 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 blah. Now, for YouTube's chief to pretend as if they never explicitly promote hate, well, how do you explain the years that hate content has been promoted and been recommended? I mean, back when Keemstar was in his prime, as I'm sure as you guys know, this man literally just falsely allegated against probably hundreds of people over the years. And his content was promoted on a pretty wide spread. And once again, the chief here is pretending like, well, we don't explicitly promote it, but it's in your recommended. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Now, another point I want to hit on in this article is I hear a lot about the rabbit hole effect, where you start watching one video and you get nudged with recommendations towards slightly more like similar videos or extreme videos and so on. This is basically talking about the child predator, thing. Now, what the producer's response was, I've heard this before, and I think that's a myth. Even though someone literally made a video pointing out that you could make a new account, search up, the child videos, and you would find that almost all recommended videos under like the video, or if you're on mobile, if you pull up the recommended videos that way, would be child videos. Now, he said this is a myth, as if it never happened, but there was an entire recent scandal of YouTube promoting that kind of content to the child predators. Nothing except children were being shown. Yet this producer has the audacity to not even admit. At least say, well, it was. Like at least own your mistake, right? No, he just says it's a myth. And what he tries to say is, the first is this notion that somehow in our interest for the recommendations to shift people in this direction because it boosts watch time or what have you. Now, let me stop him right there, because right there, he's trying to pretend like he's not, doing this for the money. In my previous video, I just said how watch time equals more ads, and how recommendations keep you watching more videos, and once again, watch time equals ads, and that equals more money for YouTube. This man has the audacity, when confronted, to pretend as if recommendations are not designed to keep you watching YouTube videos. Oh man, the political corruption, guys. Boy, I'm telling you. I wonder how long he was practicing this script, guys, because man, oh man. If that isn't bullcrap, I don't know what I'm smelling. Now, I just want to hit on recommendations as a whole. But I just wanted to share a bit about that article, because I need you to understand, when I say that YouTube's full of it, and that it's, like producers and people who work there are full of it, if this article does not show to you that they're full of it, I don't know what is, and I'm really going to do my best to try and link this to you, so I just hope that you bear with me, and I'll try and make sure I get the link to you guys. But let me just hit on recommendations real quick, okay? Turning aside from this article, I think we all know that recommendations can be bullcrap. Like I just said, we were recommended hate videos of Logan Paul during that whole Suicide Forest crap. We were recommended videos about people who literally bash other channels, and it's just called, drama channels. But I mean, you're literally bashing other people for a living, and this is being recommended to people. Heck, I mean, even in videos where, like, they're just saying, oh, it's criticism. I mean, criticism and then wanting death threats doesn't exactly sound as if it's non-hateful to me. Criticism is criticizing someone for what they do, but death threats? I mean, literally asking this person to be hit by a bus, I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just like, how is that not hate YouTube? I just want to know that. But let me touch on recommendations as a smaller content creator's point of view, because maybe you guys will know this or maybe you won't. But once again, this series is to expose this. Recommendations usually recommend people who are already established. Now, that's a fact. If you don't want to accept that, I don't know what to tell you. But you rarely will see someone on recommendations who does not have over, at least a couple of hundred thousand, right? Now, I also want to say that they have, done a bit of something. It's called Creator on the Rise, but it's one person among the millions that are trying to make content on YouTube. So I'm not going to accept that as it's a step in the right direction, because they can do much more. But recommendations, as I said in a previous video a while ago, that should never be recommending people who have already amassed millions in their audience. The moment that they have hit, in my opinion, probably 100,000. I used to say 1 million, but at least 100,000, because that's still quite a considerable amount of people. You shouldn't be in recommended. I think YouTube should still promote your videos, but you shouldn't be in recommended. Recommended should be trying to help the little guys. Recommended should help the little guys who need to gain some views and need a bit of promotion. If you're at 1 million subs and stuff, you don't belong there. But let's be real, YouTube's job is to keep you watching, despite what this idiot as the producer wants to claim that, oh, that's not what we're doing. YouTube's job is to keep you watching so that they get more money. So they recommend you this content that's already been polished and cleaned up and all of that, and they make it seem as if, people never start out at YouTube with, maybe not the best equipment, maybe not the best editing software and things like that. So they only recommend that videos. And I also want to just touch on the topic of, they recommend videos that have already amassed views, because if you search a topic, have you ever realized that even if this topic has been updated and that the previous video and now is pretty outdated, so to speak, it'll recommend you that video instead of a video that's newer, and it may not have as many views and stuff, even though that topic has been updated by that creator making that video. But they don't do it because they're promoting the content that's already been established and set in the algorithm. So for you to sit over here and pretend as if, we don't do that with recommendations, we don't try and recommend hateful content. Once again, recommended is all about keeping you on YouTube and keeping you watching. They don't care what it is. And once again, like I said in the previous video, they will turn a blind eye. I mean, hey, this is hateful content, but come on, I'll just turn the other way. I mean, that's still getting us a bit of watch time, isn't it, boys? And I do say that the feeling of this dollar bill, as I just take a whiff of this, that makes it all the worth the while. So I don't see a problem here. That's really how it's going down at YouTube, guys. Just corruption. And I just think the funniest thing is that freaking article, because the whole thing of that, this man literally just made it seem as if the whole rabbit hole that someone literally oh my gosh, they literally exposed I don't even think that's a month ago. That's a few weeks ago. You're going to make it seem as if that was a myth. And you're going to sit over here and lie that recommendations, although that accounts for keeping viewers on YouTube, that is statistically proven to keep 80% of the people on YouTube watching videos. You're going to make it seem as if it's not there to keep you getting more watch time. Oh man. It's one thing to lie to people, but it's another to sit over here and lie knowing this article is going to be published for so many people to see. It's hilarious. These freaking people who run YouTube are a joke, and I'm not going to lie, I love making these videos because it just gets out so much frustration. And once again, I didn't really intend on making a second video of this so soon, but once I saw that article, I had to, guys. I had to. That's going to bring this video on recommendation system as a whole. Perhaps I will make a part 2 on recommendations, because there's a whole lot to cover here, and that article took a big chunk of time, but I do hope that you are getting what I'm saying in these videos, because I don't know what else you want to hear other than that is just blatant BS. What that guy is insinuating. Oh, recommendations aren't here to keep you watching YouTube. Freaking, I don't know what script he made, but he really needs to revisit it. Just want to let you know, if you want to hit subscribe, please hit subscribe and the notification bell, as that is the only way that you will receive videos in your subscription feed, because YouTube's busted as always, and that's why I'm making these videos exposing it. I mean, feel free to watch another video if you like. As always, rate the video what you think it deserves. Tell me what you want to see in the future in the comments below. And if you have something that you want to hear me talk about in the Whistleblower series or something, please comment it below, and I will see all of you in the next video. Take care.